Okay, so today we're gonna learn how to check oil, look at your coolant levels, tire pressure, everything you need to do on your vehicle. That way, if nobody's ever shown you or you don't know how, maybe this will help you out a little bit. I'm gonna check them on a small passenger car and also a half-ton truck. If you don't know, we'll go here. This is a Volkswagen Jetta, if it matters. Most of the time you can go under the dash and there'll be a lever to this extent. All you have to do is pull it and that'll release your hood latch. And if you've never done this before, there's a little latch typically under here that you either have to push up or pull to the side and it'll lift your hood. And you can prop your hood up. Your oil, to check it, will always or almost always be a yellow handle. This here, that you can see that is the windshield wiper fluid, and on this particular vehicle this is the coolant reservoir. Back over here, if you can see it back here, that's the brake fluid. Typically those will be on a truck. I'll show you here in a little bit, but those will be out in the wide open so you can see those a little better. That'll be a little harder to check on this little car. For those of you that don't know, batteries may have a cover on them like this. That's what that is, and then your power box that goes into your fuse box inside typically. Okay, so now we're going to check the oil. All you have to do is pull your dipstick out. I always like to take and wipe it clean. Stick it back in all the way. Pull it back out and then check your oil level. It'll typically have marks on your dipstick that'll show you washer fluid. Typically your dash will tell you whenever you're getting low. All you do is flip this up, go to your local parts store for automotive, or Walmart, Target, wherever you shop. Even convenience stores have washer fluid, and typically they have those that are rated for 32 degrees and above. If you live in a colder climate, you may look at one that are good to 0 degrees or lower than that, so it doesn't freeze up and bust your tank. Coolant, you want to check it when the vehicle is not hot. If you open this is a pressurized system. If you open this, it's going to come out, and it can, unless you like 3rd degree burns, I suggest you don't open that unless you absolutely have to, but do it when it's cold. And all you do on this one is just turn until the cap comes off, and you can look in there and see where the level's at. Of course, this one's good. Or the easiest way to tell, I'll try to get this camera in as close as I can. The easiest way is on the tank itself. It usually has minimum and maximum marks. You can probably see it better on my truck. Just make sure that's it falls within range of those. And we'll go over to my truck now and show you that one. Same thing, I've already popped the hood. It's got a little latch in here that you hit to the side and lift up. And this one's actually spring loaded, so it doesn't have to have a holder. And my truck's already hot, so I'm not going to open that, but you can see here that that's a coolant level, and it says either full or needs to add. Here's the brake fluid reservoir I was telling you about. Power steering fluid sometimes will be in this area also, but they'll have marks on the side. It has a minimum and maximum also. The washer fluid here, same as on the car. They just pour it in there. if you can see back in there. I'm kind of short, so it's hard to reach sometimes, but I was just running the truck. I like to check my oil when the truck or car is cold on a level surface and check it like that. That way you know for sure if it's got the proper amount in it. If you have to add oil, I guess I should have said that on the car too. I'll go back to it. But you'll have a cap like this. That way if you do have to add, but don't add too much. If you don't know how much to add or don't know, you can look in your manual and it'll tell you what the markings are, how much to add. Sometimes if you're not real sure, you may take it to a service station, in a lube center or whatever, and let them take a look at it and see what you need. And on this one here, the oil add is right back here. It'll usually have the little oil symbol on it. Some of them will tell you what oil they take. This one doesn't, but you can get in your owner's manual and it'll tell you. Same setup here. This is the main power going to the fuse panel inside. If you ever have any problems with that, and the battery is back on this side. It looks a little different because of the electronics and stuff that they have on the Chevys now. Air cleaners inside here. The thing you want to check on these, and you have to check this while the vehicle's hot, is the automatic transmission fluid. It's basically about like the oil. It has a dipstick, and it's got the same markings on it also, but that has to be checked when it's hot, or the vehicle's at normal operating temperature, and it'll be able to tell if it's low on that also. Really and truly, as far as that goes, as far as your fluids and stuff, that's really about it on both of these. That little yellow light is the pressure monitoring system, I guess I should say. And that's telling me that one of our tires is either low or it could be over. They have a set amount or a set pressure that they're trying to monitor, and when it goes above or below that, it'll go off. If you look inside the driver's door, there's usually a tag here that will tell you what the front tire pressure should be, what the rear tire pressure should be, and what size tires they should be. And this one here, all of them usually have a spare also. Like this one here is telling the dimensions of the tire size, and then 36 pounds of pressure on the front. The rear is the same, 36 pounds, and then the spare is 60 pounds of pressure, if you can see that. And that's what you need to check for. Even though the tires themselves may be rated for something else, that's what the manufacturer specs say. I'm gonna use my digital gauge to check them real quick. All you have to do is unscrew the caps. We'll figure out which one of them it is. I actually just had tires put on this car, so hopefully one of them's not messed up. Let's see. This one's at 38 pounds, which this little button right here on the side, that's what it's for. You can actually pull the air off. And we're at 36. So that one's good. Go to the back one. This is the rear driver side. They're 39.5, so they're a little bit high. It doesn't take much to bleed it out, so just do it a little bit at a time. We're at 36. Chances are it's going off because it's possibly a little bit too high. They may have overpressurized them the other day when I had tires put on. Go to the passenger side rear. 36 and a half. Now we're at 36. As I mentioned earlier, it doesn't take much to let air pressure off to get it where it's within range. This is the front passenger side. I actually had the front two ones replaced last week, so that may be where it is. It's at 37. $36. So those being in 39 range, once you're going down the road, they do build up heat and that pressure will rise. So chances are that's what it was the rear ones had a little bit too much. They built up a little bit of heat. Unfortunately on this vehicle, you have to manually reset that. Some of the other vehicles, like my truck does it, if it gets back within range, it'll reset itself and the light will go off. On this one here, there's a button just inside the glove box. Right here. This is in weather. If it gets cooler, it can cause the pressure to drop. Like I said earlier, going down the highway, if heat builds up, it'll cause them to get a little bit too high. So it's not like you got to stop at that point, but it's nice to get out and check them. If you do, I carry one of these in every one of our vehicles. They're different types, and I'll show you here in a little bit what different types there are. They're pretty inexpensive, and that way you can check it. So if you do need to go get your tire checked, like if you ran over a nail or something, you know it's losing air, you need to get it fixed, or it could just be weather related and you need to check them more often. I'm going to get in the trunk and check the spare. It's underneath a lot of stuff, but you want to check that, because if you do have a flat, you don't want to be on the side of the road without a spare tire that has air in it. This right here is what I wanted to show you. This is just something that I put in this vehicle. It's just a small little air pump, just in case you're on the side of the road on a trip or something and use a spare. Maybe you forgot to check it, or one of the tires is low. It takes a little while to pump them up, but it's got a built-in pressure gauge. This is another thing that is a pet peeve of mine, because I can't stand a dirty windshield, which we've had some rain here lately. But if you can take and rub these blades and a lot of black stuff comes off on them, you really need to replace your blades. Or if you see streaking or anything like that on your windshield whenever you're going, it's time to replace those blades. Drought areas is pretty harsh on them. They do pretty well if you've got quite a bit of rain in your area, but they get dry rotted pretty easy. Okay, told y'all earlier about the different types of pressure checkers and stuff like that. Just want to kind of give you an example of what you can get. Sorry I'm having to film in our travel trailer, but I'm sure y'all don't want to hear our dog barking nonstop. Here's going to be a few examples of what you can pick up at any of your auto parts stores, convenience stores, Walmart, wherever you normally go to, online if you need to. But there's several different kinds that you can keep. I recommend keeping one in your car just in case you need it, especially college kids. Both of my kids have them in theirs, and I'll show you another little added feature that for the parents that have kids that maybe kind of a little bit further off like ours are, just in case. So it's a little insurance policy just in case they have a low tire coming back home for the holidays or something of that nature. Okay, so these are the different types. This is one that you just press that onto your valve stem on the tire, and it'll slide out. I don't know how well you can see that on this camera, but it'll slide out and tell you the pressures. And normally these will go from 0 to, I think this one's 120. But they make them, most small vehicles are not going to go past probably about 50 or 60. Some of your heavier trucks will go up to 80. So this should be sufficient for anything that you have, just a normal vehicle. Now semis and stuff are a little bit different story. These are pretty inexpensive. I think this one came from Walmart, and this is the one that I keep in our travel trailer to check the tires whenever we use it. This looks similar, but this is actually the attachment that goes on my small air compressor that I have. It's an electric air compressor that this goes in the hose, and that's how I feel it. You feel just like you would checking the tire pressure. This is an analog gauge that you put the air valve from the tire there, and this little button here is to release pressure if you need to. You can see on the gauge here that it goes up to 60 pounds of pressure, which is more than enough for all the vehicles I have. This one here I keep in my truck. And then, of course, the one that we were checking the tires with, I want to say this one came from Walmart as well. I was on the road one time and needed one, and I didn't have one in my vehicle, of course. But this is a digital. I find it pretty easy to use, just because, I mean, shows you an exact number on the digital display. The other little thing that I wanted to show y'all that I keep in my kids' vehicles, which is a little different from the one I'm about to show you, but I gave them one before they went to college, and this is the one I keep in my truck. This is kind of a all-in-one battery pack. It's got the jumper cables just in case you need a jump start. It's got the positive and negative on this side. This particular one here actually has a built-in air compressor also. The ones I got from my kids, I believe, were a Duracell brand. I'll have to figure out what model they were. Those were for up to a 6-cylinder engine. This one was up to 8-cylinder. It's got charging ports here if you need to charge your cell phone. So if you ever run into a bind on the side of the road where your car loses power, at least you've got an option to go with that. Kind of tilt it up so I can show you this. It's got the where you clamp onto the tire. You'll just have it open like that, clamp onto it, and turn the power onto it. And it's actually got a pressure gauge here that you can check on if you don't have any of these others that we got here. You can just let it run until your pressure checks and it runs off battery power. It does have an adapter that you can plug it into your cigarette lighter if need be to charge or recharge after you've used it. But if you're kind of stranded on the side of the road with no power, this thing, it's even got lights. This is the on-off switch for the booster if you ever need to jump anything. And this one here, I thought was pretty neat. Had a little built-in AM/FM radio just in case for like weather if you have a power outage or something. And come with quite a few accessories. I want to say this one was about $150, which the ones I got for the kids, I want to say they were around 80, 90 bucks. And they were due up to a 6-cylinder, and they pretty much have everything except for the radio. I just think it's a good idea to have, especially if your kids are traveling, anybody for that matter. That way you've got a little extra backup instead of trying to make it to a store that has a air compressor, or maybe you're caught at night without something. At least you have a light. You can check to see how much power you've got left in it. They recommend charging these and the ones I got for the kids every 3 months at least, just to make sure they're fully charged when you need them. So you have to kind of remember that, but it could get you out of a bind. I've actually used this one to help other people more so than I have used it for myself. Just thought I'd give you that information. It's this one's kind of bulky. I keep it behind the seat of my truck. The ones I got for the kids are pretty slimline, and they keep those in the trunk. Kind of like the little air compressors that I've got in the Volkswagen Jetta. So hopefully that helped you. Kind of new to this, so if you can like it, share it, let me know what you need to see. My main goal was to go through a household that common everyday people that just may not know that some of us take for granted that we do every day. If you need to know something, I'm going to try to start doing a video maybe once every week or two, just to kind of get you up to speed or either help you out where needed. This one was on autos because whenever I asked the question on Facebook, most people said that they're college kids. You know, some of them didn't know how to do stuff. This is just basic checking pressures and coolant and stuff like that, which everybody should do before you get in your car, but most people don't. And I'll try to get maybe a tire change down the road. Really want to kind of stick with household stuff too, to help anybody out on that. So just leave your comments if it helped you. If not, sorry, but I'll try better next time. This is my first video, and I'm gonna see if I can edit this and make it worth your while. Thanks for watching.